Some Nigerian politicians accuse the former governor of Borno State, Ali Sheriff, as the sponsor of Boko Haram, that he used them as his political talks during his tenure as the governor of Borno State. When their relationship turned sour, the talks formed a group that gave rise to Boko Haram militants in Nigeria. There is an ongoing argument among Nigerian politicians with regards to the root of Boko Haram in the country. According to the United Nations, more than 27,000 people have been killed and 2 million others displaced in the northeast region of Nigeria due to the violence of Boko Haram militants. At least 22,000 people are missing. The International Committee of the Red Cross, ICRC, estimated nearly 60% of those missing in Nigeria are children, and that it was the highest number of missing persons registered under the organization in any country in the world. On February 24, 2014, Boko Haram militants invaded Buniyandi Secondary School in Yobe State and set the school ablaze, killing 59 innocent boys. Before committing the atrocity, they told the girls attending the school to end their educational ambitions and focus their attentions on getting married. They warned them that if they continue their studies, they will be killed, while 59 innocent boys were brutally murdered by the militants. Unlike the case of the Chibok school girls, the killings of these innocent boys did not go viral in the global world. Boko Haram members stormed a secondary school in Yobe State in 2014 and brutally murdered 59 young boys in the school. It took Nigerian police officers 4 hours to arrive at the scene of the crime.
This one from McIver, and he says he wants us to cover the killing of 59 school children in a federal government college in Yobe State by Boko Haram. Of course, we're going to talk about that today. We'll talk about daily life.
Children are scared of going to school because they may be slaughtered by Boko Haram. People are living in fear and anxiety. People are confused. They don't know what to do. They want the government to help them. The role and responsibility of the government is to protect its citizens.
Few weeks after the Buniyandi Secondary School massacre, on April 14, 2014, Boko Haram stormed Chibok Girls' School and abducted 276 girls. In the first few minutes of the kidnapping, 57 girls managed to jump from the trucks in which they were transported and escaped. The remaining 219 were taken away by the fighters. Some of the girls were stoned to death by Boko Haram members in their camps. The girl who refused their proposed marriage was punished with 200 lashes of cane. The kidnapping of the girls prompted global outcry, with various organizations and celebrities calling for their release. The wife of the former president of the United States, Michelle Obama, joined the campaign #BringBackOurGirls.
It prompted outrage around the world and a campaign to set them free.
Like millions of people across the globe, my husband and I are outraged and heartbroken over the kidnapping of more than 200 Nigerian girls from their school dormitory in the middle of the night. This unconscionable act was committed by a terrorist group determined to keep these girls from getting an education.
After several months of the kidnapping, Boko Haram militants released the tape showing the girls in their camp.
He then goes on to give assurances that the Chibok schoolgirls will regain their freedom, but with a caveat that all detained members of the Boko Haram sect be freed first by the federal government.
Shekau, the group's leader, said the girls shouldn't have been in school. God instructed me to sell them. They are his properties and I will carry out his instructions.
Few months after the kidnapping of Chibok school girls, 11 of their parents were reported dead. Some died from heart attack, while others died from the violence of Boko Haram in the country. 3 months after the kidnapping of Chibok schoolgirls, 11 of their parents were reported dead and their hometown Chibok was under siege from Boko Haram militants. 7 fathers of the kidnapped girls were among 51 people who died during Boko Haram attack on a nearby village of Katakari in 2014. At least 4 more parents have died of heart failure, high blood pressure, and other illnesses that the community blames on the trauma due to the mass abduction of their children. One father of 2 of the girls kidnapped just went into a coma and kept repeating the names of his 2 daughters until he passed away. In 2016, Boko Haram released 21 Chibok schoolgirls to Nigerian authorities after a series of negotiations with the Nigerian government. Few weeks after their release, a Chibok schoolgirl carrying her 10-month-old son was found by Nigerian armies. In 2017, another Chibok schoolgirl was found with a 6-month-old baby during an operation to arrest suspected Boko Haram members by Nigerian armies.
We are rejoicing, enjoying with our daughter. I thank God for this very wonderful success and privilege. The freedom is super. God bless Nigeria.
I went and hugged one by one the 21 girls, spoke to them in my own dialect. I wanted to shed tears, but when I saw some of them crying, I said I have to hold my own.
On May 6, 2017, 82 Chibok schoolgirls were released after several negotiations between Boko Haram and the Nigerian government. Some of the girls came back with babies.
We begin with footage of the visits of the freed 82 Chibok girls to the presidential villa today. The girls who were brought into the villa in 2 military buses met with the president, Muhammadu Buhari. This batch of girls were released yesterday by the Boko Haram terrorists in exchange for their members held by the military.
The issue of Boko Haram insurgency in Nigeria has been ravaging the country for almost 2 decades now. According to the United Nations, more than 27,000 people have been killed, 2 million persons displaced due to the violence of these militants. However, there is an ongoing argument among Nigerian politicians with regards to the roots of Boko Haram in the country. Just take a look.
We all know what started Boko Haram. Everybody knows. It was started in Borno by the then Borno governor, Ali Sharif. He's still roaming the streets freely.
The committee set out by the government to investigate the atrocities and roots of Boko Haram in Nigeria alleged that the members of the group now known as Boko Haram were the political thugs of the former governor of Borno State, Ali Sharif. He armed them with ammunition as his political thugs when he was the governor of Borno State. The allegation of aiding thugs by Nigerian politicians happened virtually in every state of the federation. Few years ago, 2 different groups of thugs confessed the former president of Senate, Bukola Saraki, and Senator Dino Melaye as their masterminders.
17 suspects arrested for direct involvement and active participation in the Overbank robbery and the gruesome killing of 33 innocent persons, which includes some pregnant women and 9 police personnel, admitted, confessed, and volunteer statement that they were political thugs of the Senate President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Bukola Saraki, and the Executive Governor of Kwara State, Alhaji Abdul Fatai.
My involvement with the Senate President, we are his boys. We work for him at Kwara South. We are the one that we mobilize and we are the one that do political arrangements for him.
Describe it.
For example, where we are not supposed, where we can't win, we make the Baru arrangement there. We scatter elections if we don't win.
Okay. Given to you by who?
because of 19 election.
Who give by who? Who gave them?
Dino gave me.
Dino gave you?
Yes, sir.
Who is Dino? Is he a senator?
Dino Melai.
Melai?
Yes, sir.
The senator.
He gave you to do what to teach?
So now you can train my boys because of 19 election.
The evil that the politicians do in Nigeria is what is manifesting through the incident that happened connecting the president of the Senate. They always, majority of them, especially the big ones, they have thugs that they call area boys that they use to mess up elections, to force elections to their own taste, and to suppress and oppress each other when they during election. So this president of the Senate, the thugs claim that they work for him during election as his thugs, as his area boys. But now election is over. The ammunition he supplied them during the election, he did not take it back, which is the normal thing with most politicians in Nigeria. They don't take back these ammunitions they gave to them. First, the ammunition is illegal in their own hands too. Then it's illegal in the hands of the thugs. So they got the ammunition, they gave it to the thugs, and when the election is over, they didn't take it back. And they are now not giving money to the thugs as they used to do or they normally do during the election. So now the thugs are broke and they are idle. And we all know that idle hands are the ones that the devil will borrow to use. So they're hungry and they need money. So they have ammunition. So they figure, what is it? So let's go use the ammunition to get money.
In the case of Boko Haram militants, some Nigerian politicians accused the former governor of Borno State, Ali Sheriff, as the sponsor of Boko Haram, that he used them as his political thugs during his tenure as the governor of Borno State. When their relationship turned sour, the thugs formed a group that gave rise to Boko Haram militants in Nigeria. But Ali Sheriff denied the allegation.
The root cause of that problem, as we know it today, is Ali Sharif. He used them for his own political machinery. He armed them as his political thugs. He even made one of them a commissioner, but they became too powerful.
Ali Sheriff even made one of the militants his commissioner during his tenure as the governor of Borno State. But Ali Sheriff denied the allegation. Take a look.
I have not associated myself with any terrorist anywhere in the world. I don't have a friend. I don't know them. And I did not even met Mohammed Yusuf until he was captured by the military for the first time. I've neither associated myself nor shared the beliefs of the religious fundamentalism such as Boko Haram or any other sect for that matter.
Boko Haram militants existed since the late 1990s, organized by late Mohammed Yusuf. The group started in Maiduguri, the capital city of Borno State. They launched their first attack in 2003. Multiple police stations in Yobe State near the Niger border were attacked and some police officers were killed. A joint military task force retaliated and killed more than 700 Boko Haram members, and their operational mosque was destroyed. The action of the Nigerian security agents ended the uprising of Boko Haram. The founder of the group, Mohammed Yusuf, and his deputy were reported dead during the confrontation. After the death of Yusuf, the second phase of Boko Haram rised in Borno State. In September 2010, almost 50 Boko Haram militants attacked a prison in Bauchi, killing 5 people and releasing more than 700 inmates. On the 9th of May 2011, the day of President Goodluck Jonathan's inauguration, Boko Haram designated 3 IEDs near a military barrack in the city of Bauchi. At least 10 people were reported dead. In August 26, 2011, Boko Haram attacked the office of United Nations in Abuja. A car bomb killed 23 people and injured more than 75 others. In November 2011, more than 100 people died in multiple attacks in Yobe and Borno states as Boko Haram targeted security forces and their offices, markets, and 11 churches. In January 2012, more than 200 people were killed when Boko Haram launched different attacks targeting police, military, a prison, and other public gatherings in the city of Kano. Boko Haram targeted churches in various states in 3 Sundays in a row, leaving more than 50 people dead in 2013. On September 17, 2013, Boko Haram gunmen dressed in military uniforms and staged a fake checkpoint in Borno, setting vehicles in blaze, leaving at least 143 travelers dead. On May 13, 2014, hundreds of Boko Haram militants attacked 3 villages in Borno State. The villagers resisted and killed more than 200 Boko Haram fighters. That same month, Boko Haram blasted the city of Jos and killed 118 people at a market gathering. In June 2014, hundreds of people were killed by Boko Haram militants in Borno State. Suspected Boko Haram members kidnapped at least 200 young women over a weekend in the northeastern region, Gadki Fulani. They hold the village of Kamanza in Borno State hostage for 4 days and abducted more than 60 females, including children, and killed 30 men during the attacks. And the list goes on.
The group took an official name, People Committed to the Propagation of the Prophet's Teachings and Jihad, or more popularly, Boko Haram, for Western education is forbidden. Years of violence followed. In Mamudo, they burned a high school with students inside. In Madala, they bombed a Catholic church on Christmas Day. In Kano, a suicide attack killed 120 worshippers praying at a mosque.
On February 19, 2018, a group of Boko Haram militants invaded the Government Science and Technical College at Dashi Town in Yobe State, kidnapping 110 girls. The federal government quickly confirmed the 110 missing students. The kidnapping also revived people's memories of the mass kidnapping of 219 Chibok schoolgirls in 2014. Shortly after the kidnapping of the Dashi girls, the Justice Ministry says that a Nigerian High Court has brought 205 of Boko Haram members to justice. 5 among the 110 girls adopted by Boko Haram in 2018 in Yobe State were reported dead. One of the girls, Leah Sharibu, who refused to renounce her Christian faith, is still under the custody of Boko Haram, while 104 girls were released.
It's the joy of having their sisters back after spending some 30 days in Boko Haram captivity. The mothers are also waiting anxiously to welcome their girls back home, but then not every one of them received the good news. This woman's daughter is said to have been the only one still in captivity because she refused to accept the terms of converting to the religion of the terrorists. A story that has put her sister in coma.
Boko Haram returned 104 of the adopted girls. 5 of the girls died in the adoption. The girls with Muslim backgrounds were released, but a 16-year-old Leah Sharibu is still under the custody of Boko Haram. Leah is a Christian, and the militants held her back because she refused to renounce her Christian faith and adopt Islam. Her continued captivity has led to outcry among Christian population worldwide.
Why were these girls released so quickly? Well, you guessed it, these girls were Muslim. Now, the only girl that was not released was Leah Sharibu. And any guess why Leah wasn't released? Because she's a Christian. And under great pressure, she wouldn't convert to Islam.
Boko Haram insurgency in Nigeria is not driven by ethnicity or religion. They attack both Muslims and Christians in various regions of the country. Take a look.
Why did Boko Haram attack this area?
They attacked because they targeted populations. They are targeting populations, gatherings of people. Right. Wherever there is a crowd, that's their target.
You said many of these children here, their families are victims?
Most of them, they are victims of Boko Haram because some of their families has been displaced from various villages. If you're a Muslim, you're a target. If you're a Christian, you're a target. They slaughter people like animals, which is not part of Islamic doctrine.
When the Boko Haram started, they were like burning churches. So people thought they were Muslims. Who are these people? They fight the Christian, they fight the Muslim. So nobody know about them. We believe they are devils. They don't have heart.
In January 2017, dozens of people were killed when a Nigerian fighter jet mistakenly bombed a camp of the internally displaced persons during an operation against Boko Haram militants. According to a humanitarian aid group, Doctors Without Borders, almost 90 innocent citizens died as a result of the failed operation. The security situation in northeast Nigeria is deteriorating. People have been criticizing the weak military strategy and that the Nigerian military is under-equipped despite billions allocated for defense spending in the country. People have been complaining about how Nigerian security agents are underfunded in the country. They argue that Nigerian armies lack ammunition to fight Boko Haram. The issue of lack of ammunition among Nigerian security agents lies in the hands of those who are in charge of federal allocations. During the dispensation of Goodluck Jonathan, the fund that was allocated to buy arms and fight Boko Haram was embezzled by those who were in the position of providing security for citizens in the country. Take a look. President Buhari ordered the arrest of Sambo Dasuki after a government investigation alleged that $2 billion meant to buy arms to fight Boko Haram had gone missing. Dasuki was arrested in 2015 and spent over 2 years under the detention of the Department of the State Services, DSS, before he was granted bail. The next on the list is the former Chief of Defense Staff, Alex Baden. He was accused of misappropriating 8 billion naira. According to EFCC investigation, Mr. Baden used government funds to build mansions and other properties for himself in Abuja. These funds were allocated to buy more arms in the country. EFCC found more than $1 million in cash in one of his homes. So far, they have recovered almost 4 billion naira in cash and properties from Chief Baden. Sadly, in December 18, 2018, Chief Baden was shot dead on his way to buy farmland in Nasarawa State.
Our army on daily basis are complaining that the arms the government is giving them, the morale and the motivation is not enough for them to confront and fight the Boko Haram people because they are heavily armed and our security personnel are underfunded, are under-equipped, are under-armed, and that is why these things are happening.
In the conversation,
recently, Nigerian Senate introduces a bill to rehabilitate and integrate repentant Boko Haram members into the mainstream society. The bill stipulates that Boko Haram members will receive foreign education. Recently, Nigerian Senate introduces a bill that seeks to establish an agency for the rehabilitation, the radicalization, and integration of repentant Boko Haram insurgents in the country. The bill will offer repentant Boko Haram members the opportunity to study abroad. But some lawmakers fear that releasing Boko Haram militants into the mainstream society could be counterproductive, as some vulnerable fighters would return to the terror group to commit more atrocities. They added that Boko Haram members do not repent. Hence, the program of de-radicalization may be breeding species and agents for recruitment for Boko Haram.
So a bill seeking the establishment of an agency for repentant members of the Boko Haram terrorist group has been introduced in the Senate. The bill is aimed at creating a national agency that would see to the rehabilitation, de-radicalization and integration of repentant insurgents. The bill was sponsored by Senator Ibrahim Gaidam.
The idea of compensating and rehabilitating militants in Nigeria might not be the best strategy to counter crimes in the country. Few years ago, the governor of Kaduna, Nasiru El-Rufai, offered financial compensation to killer herdsmen in Kaduna. He also alleged that some of the killer herdsmen are foreign militants that they migrated from Chad, Mali, Niger, and other neighboring countries. But he chose to offer financial compensation to killer herdsmen, even to foreign militants who are responsible for the death of thousands of innocent civilians in the country.
And yes, we offered them money. We said, look, if we have to pay you not to kill our people, we're happy to do it.
Is that the only solution that you're adopting, to pay them to stop the killing?
That is the only solution we can see. If anyone has a better solution, he should give us. Now this has happened. We apologize that you are caught up in our domestic issues. Have you lost cattle? We can pay. Have you lost lives? We can pay compensation. Compensation for lives and property has foundations even in the Quran and the Bible. What we were trying to do was offering money to them to say, don't kill our people. And frankly, as the governor of the state, the life of every citizen of that state and his property is on my head. I will stand before God and be asked, what did you do to ensure that that person is not killed or his property destroyed?
Foreign militants are financially compensated to stop the killings of innocent civilians in the country. Guess what? After the compensation, killer herdsmen continue to terrorize the region and kill innocent civilians in the state.